Boys and girls, good morning, good morning. How are we all doing? It's time for another day of alpha. There are some slight things I need to do before that, but I'm hoping I can get this banged out nice and quickly. I've started the stream a little bit early this morning to hopefully compensate for that. What's going on here? What's going on here? I gotta get my auctions listed. If we don't list auctions, we don't sell shit. It's quite simple. But that does mean we're not on the alpha straight away this morning. And I've just logged on to find out that all my bonus accounts have run out game time, so I've just got to load them back up. Quick few tokens. 4 tokens, so flipping 1.5 million in the bin so far this morning. But yes, we'll get to the alpha in a little bit. The alpha was super duper mega buggy yesterday for a lot of people, so there's a good chance actually that we might not easily be able to get on the alpha, or we'll have disconnect issues and stuff today. I don't imagine they're going to smooth out problems like that on a at the end of the week, but we'll see. How many accounts am I using? Well, as of right now, I've got 5 up and running. Let's put me. Where's the me section? There's the me section. Let's move this a little bit into a spot, not over anything else. Right, log you out. Get you down to the undermine. I'm not going to do any extracurricular activities. I'm literally just going to repost my auctions and empty the mailbox. Let's see if we can make that gold back that we've just spent on the accounts.
Can you believe those chuckleheads?
I'm probably not even going to scout for any deals on anything to buy. I'm literally just going to try and bang through relisting these auctions as fast as we can this morning. But how did people start liking the content yesterday? 3 videos in a day. Wow. What a way to make a return to YouTube. Got my YouTube voice out. Remembered how that worked. That was fun. Apparently it's like riding a bike. You and you. Yeah, apparently it's like riding a bike. I've been updating the Discord a little bit as well as I'm going with each of the professions. There's the horrible thing has dawned on me that I am probably going to need to level up at least some of the professions a touch before I do any more of the first views. Mostly because I can't view the spec trees in game until I'm like skilled 25 on a bunch of them, which could end up being frustrating. We might have to spend a day doing some herbing and mining and just, explore the zone and do some of the quests and, quote unquote, play the game a little bit. Gather up some materials whilst we go. Get a feeling of herbing and mining. Wombo combo it a little bit. We can't explore all the zones anyway, so we've only got up to level 83, I think, on the alpha. Is where we get capped. The first zone we can play through a little bit. What's your guess on pet battle values going forward due to the changes? Well, we haven't really officially had any changes yet. But there has been cries for Blizzard to come out and say something. Because yes, pet battles and a lot of stuff that revolves around pet battles are seemingly going away. This has not been confirmed, but we saw next to nothing pet-wise in Koresh. And going into the Midnight Alpha now, a lot of players have been like, where's all the pet battle stuff? There's apparently no new trainers, significantly less pets to collect. There is no like battle pet mode. You just throw a cage at them and capture the ones that are out in the wild. So this has led a lot of people to go, what's going on? Nothing official has come from Blizzard yet, but I'm guessing we'll hear something soon. Now, why is my little add-on not working? Byte to group. There we go. Oh, we sold something. What did we sell here? Spawn of... No. I don't know what we sold. GSM forgot to track it. Of course it did. Did you look at herbalism and mining? No, we've not got to the gathering. Like, arguably, I should probably have started there so I get an idea of the materials. But we dove straight into some of the professions yesterday. There's no cheat vendors or anything. Somewhat annoyingly, on the alpha this time round, they probably just forgot to add them because, of course, they did. Means they'll probably get in-state like added into next week's build. Once again, slightly frustratingly, because we're going to be busy with Remix next week, but what can you do? If I get the first views out the way this week, then we can hopefully actually play with the professions a little bit more next week. And then we should start to get like a pretty solid picture of what they want to achieve with the professions in general. And what sort of direction we think stuff is going to go in. We can put our economy brain on and see if we can start to see what might happen going forward. Nintendo makes Blizzard worried. Well, if they Pet Battles have been in the game for like over a decade, 2012 or something they were added. I don't think there was going to be an issue. It would have happened already. Probably overhauling the system and it isn't ready yet. I mean, that is also a viable option. With them adding a new way to capture the battle pets out in the wild, that's not a totally incorrect sort of thought process. Unfortunately, though, Mr. Skeptical Manthias here is not convinced. That's mostly because there is... I mean, if we think goal making's a niche community, the pet battling is even more of a niche community, I believe. And in a world where they are clearly weighing up the value of every little piece of content they produce in order to streamline, it is slightly worrying that it could quite easily have been chopped. But we'll see. See, this is one of those things that this is why the alpha is important, right? The alpha is important because if we see things that we don't particularly like or don't particularly agree with, now's the time to speak up because it's still early enough for people to, you know, do stuff. The alpha is invite only. The alpha is always invite only. There is a very, very small chance you can get in randomly if you sign up for the beta. If you sign up as a candidate that would be willing to test pre-release content, then whilst it does strictly claim to be... On the website, at least, it claims it's only for signing up for access to the beta, but if you are on that list, then you might get chosen to also test the alpha. It works the same. So you can always pop your name on the list. A lot of people probably haven't bothered this time round because of maybe pre-purchasing Midnight already, thinking that they've quote unquote bought beta access, but you can still get selected to be chosen for the alpha, to test the alpha as well. I need a more streamlined way of saying that because it's going to be a question that gets thrown at me 500 times. That's why I got the command for it. Nintendo have got a patent on Pokemon recently. Maybe there is a conflict. But are there not rules and regulations around that sort of thing? If a patent is created that isn't anything prior to the creation date of that patent kind of protected? Because, you know, at the time it was, I don't know. Unless they deliberately want to go after it and make a big stink of it, I don't know. I'm going to be honest, it seems far too much like hard work for Blizzard to be dealing with any sort of Nintendo related issues regarding the Pokemon-esque nature of pet battles. I think it's 99 times more likely that they've just gone, yeah, you know, nobody bothers with this anymore, let's get rid of it. So the system stays, but they can't add to it. That's actually a kind of good point. That's actually kind of a good point, yeah. Maybe hence why nothing really happened in Koresh. I don't know. Maybe they're playing it safe, who knows? Is concentration still a thing? Yes, concentration is still a thing. It's received significantly 0 changes. Absolutely 0 has changed about concentration. It still recharges at the same rate. You still have the same amount of it. 1,000 per profession. Doesn't seem to have had any changes there at all. The gameplay loop around utilizing concentration has changed quite a bit in terms of the fact that there's only 2 qualities of things now. Hang on, we've got to be careful. There's only 2 qualities of materials and commodities. There's still 5 ranks, 5 qualities of gear. The 2 ranks will certainly change people's approach to concentration. It gives people a much easier way to start using concentration effectively. I didn't really think there was much of a barrier to entry to use concentration anyway, but you at least had to skill up your profession a certain degree to get to the point where you could craft rank 2 things so that you could use concentration to push it to rank 3. I didn't really think that was much of a barrier, really, because you have to level your profession to get access to a lot of recipes anyway. So without the recipes, then you've got nothing to concentrate on. It will be marginally easier to use your concentration. You'll be able to start pressing the button much earlier. The only barrier to entry is now you literally having the recipe. But other than that, not a huge amount has changed in that area of the game. Not that we've seen so far, anyway. Concentration daily grind and somebody's bought out the gleaming shards. Why are people like this? Because they know when people buy them, they buy them in bulk. Oh, what we sold here. 20k worth of some in. Infurious leg wraps of possibility. Flipped a PvP recipe. Well, that kind of makes up for the charged rune axe recipe that I bought for 25k. I'm going to get some coffee in me, get some caffeine in me, get my auctions listed, which hopefully shouldn't take much more than 45 minutes. And then we'll dive into alpha stuff again. I'm sure that's really what people are after to see. I'm itching to get as much alpha stuff done as we can in the next few days, hence why it's Saturday and I'm pretending it's not. I might have to take tomorrow as a regular Sunday, just to get some adulting done. But other than that, we're every day's a weekday at the moment. Boy, oh boy, do I need caffeine this morning. Glad that the puppies are chill. They've been having a massive flipping argument this morning, these dogs. All three of them barking at each other, running around. A 13-year-old dog should not be running around doing zoomies. It's like flipping out. A 13-year-old dog and a 13-week-old dog going toe-to-toe. Is she 13 weeks? Yeah, roughly. What are they up to now? Oh, Alma's got a stick. What's left of the stick? The stick is getting smaller by the day. I am somewhat concerned she's not just nomming it, but full on eating it. She's going to be flipping shit in splinters. Probably not great for her. But keeps her quiet. It was also kind of pleasantly nice to see yesterday that even though on YouTube I've not posted a video in flipping months, and I'd obviously steadily been watching my YouTube sub numbers decline because of this, I was pleasantly surprised to see that when I posted a few videos yesterday that there were still people there. There's always a looming concern, looming concern as a content creator that the very second you stop posting, your relevancy just disappears completely and people forget who you are and stop caring. But it was really nice to see a lot of people commenting on the videos, a bunch of people hitting that sub button, and also, you know, a not atrocious level of views considering I haven't posted in months, which was very nice to see yesterday. Now, admittedly, there's probably a percentage of the views that are completely new to the channel, have no idea who I was. But if they chose to hit the sub button, I feel I'm doing my job properly. I was very concerned I was going to post the videos and they get like 4 views. Now, I tip my hat to those 4 viewers, but at least 2 of them would have been me checking the video wasn't busted before I hit publish. It's also going to be a bit of a test today because the chances are, if I'm going to get all of these first look videos done in a prompt fashion, whilst also streaming, we might end up having to do some live records, which is always fun because people find ways and means of completely trolling me. But it will also be a good thing to test if my PC can actually handle it properly as well. Good morning, Ish. Welcome in, Tammy. Good morning. Why is it only an Ish morning? Why is it only Ish? You get up at 5? Screw that for a laugh. Jesus. 5 o'clock is bedtime, not get up time. I've slowly trained the puppy that we are not leaving the house before 8 a.m. Those nips are stolen the stick now. Okay, they're going to have arguments in a minute. Doges are going to have... You can see them in the corner here. They're about to have arguments because they both want the stick. Yep, there we go. This is how things work when you have kids. I'm going to do that really annoying thing to all parents and go, I know, I've got 3 dogs. I know that triggers parents, like, incredibly so. You can't compare your pets to my children. Yeah, I can. Just did. Get triggered. I'm clearly a bit sassy before I get my coffee in the morning. Oh, did you get told, Nipser? Did you get told? Alma wins. Nipser really wins. She's the one that's getting butt scratches. What she really wants. Flappy tail. I do my best work 5 to 9, pretty much a whole work day and half the time. Min-max in here. Good effort. Good effort. I mean, it's the billionaire mindset, isn't it? Why all of these supposed super mega business people get up at like 3 a.m. and do their routines, because by 8 a.m., by the time everybody else is thinking about starting, they've literally done half a day's work. It's clever in a way, if you're willing to be, you know, chronically working. Have I tried the War Within thaumaturgy on new maps? A good question. No. I don't think you can, though. I think thaumaturgy will probably be locked to the predefined list of things you can thaumaturgize. And thaumaturgy is dead, by the way, for midnight. What already feels like a bit of a great loss as well, to be honest. This is going to be one of those opinions that will not travel very far. Because I genuinely do think most of the player base took one look at thaumaturgy and went, flipping hell, numbers, no thanks. Which is why it probably got axed. But the impact across the board of thaumaturgy by those that knew how it worked and were able and willing to utilize it, there was a very profound overall positive effect on the entire profession system by thaumaturgy existing. For the first expansion in nearly ever, there is still value in picking up herbs or leather, cloth, even right at the end of the expansion. Whereas in many previous expansions, without a stabilizing system, certain materials end up just completely plummeting to like nothingness. I mean, the same has happened in the War Within with some materials, obviously. Anything that doesn't go anywhere near thaumaturgy. Delve mats is a prime example of this. the incredible variancy from the beginning of the expansion to the
wallet?
end of the expansion
You
in
just glad
delve
to
mats
see me.
is, you know,
Both, I
iconic
hope.
to see. We were going from 10, 12,000 gold for tinder boxes down to 3 gold apiece. That shows just what happens to most materials without any sort of system in place to keep value in them. Todius, thank you very much for the sub, by the way. Good morning. Appreciate that. Welcome in. Thank you, thank you. Speaking of cloth, is it tailoring only? Good question. Haven't looked at tailoring yet. Not got to tailoring. I have tailoring, blacksmithing, inscription, and enchanting still to look at as primary crafting professions. And then obviously we've got all of the herb mining, skinning to look at as well. I've taken a bit of a look at jewel crafting and leatherworking as well. Not as much of a look as I would like though, because I can't view the spec trees without leveling the damn things. So I need some mats before I can look at those properly. From an in-game perspective anyway, I can scout what the hell's going on via Wowhead just like everybody else can, but thanks for the midnight content. Hey, I'll do my best. Like I said, I can't guarantee I'll please everybody with it, and I can't guarantee it will all be out as timely as some people want, but I'll do what I can do. I am absolutely shamelessly plugging the Discord every opportunity at the moment, though. Hop into the Discord because I've got channels set up for, or as I get to them, I'm creating channels for each of the professions with a bit of an info dump for people, and some dedicated channels for midnight-related discussion and Q&A and stuff like that. So have a little look about. You're the only one doing anything, so take your time. I was the only one that had alpha access yesterday, of anybody. It was really funny. For most of the day yesterday, I was the only person on the alpha. It felt like in the entire world. I did a /who 80, and I was the only person logged on. The servers were really, really unstable yesterday, and for the most of the day, people couldn't actually even log on to them. So it's of no surprise I'm the only one doing anything, because I was the only one that could get on the damn thing yesterday. That said, I'm not sure just... I mean, there isn't that many... Hey, no barking. There isn't that many goal-making content creators out there these days. Alma, stop barking. No. Not bad. Thusday. Fortunately, neither of you get it right now. Because you can't play nice. And you only start at 80 on the alpha. You can either make brand new characters or you can make level 80 pre-mades. But I wonder if it might be a smart move to get it loaded in the background now anyway. Just in case there are login issues later. Start with the woofing, please. Hang on. I just got to change a few things. There we go. Alpha can live behind me for now, and at least I can see if I'm still logged onto it or not. Get back to it in a little bit. Be interesting to see what the XP reduction is from 70 to 80. That's a beta thing. Just doggos. I mean, we will probably on the alpha test leveling a new tune, especially because of the level squish and stuff. It is definitely something to look at, but it's super low down on my priority list, if I'm going to be honest. It's the kind of thing, you know, your other content creators might take a closer look at. It will be good to test it because it will give them some baseline information to then balance it off. But I would probably suspect it to be a bit wacky or completely busted entirely at the moment. How are we doing, Haley? Welcome in. Good morning, good morning. I do have the slight issue today that my voice hurts and I've got a headache, which I really hope doesn't end up being a problem. Get some coffee in me. Bit of caffeine flowing through the system. They said the campaign is not as linear as before. Is it true? It looks like you have to do the first zone. Everybody has to do the first zone in the same way. But then you get to split off in one of 3 directions. The way the alpha's phased, we only get the first zone this week. In the subsequent following weeks, we'll get access to different level brackets for testing. And different zones to play within. Also, hence why it feels like a really good move to get a Herber Miner kind of span up nice and early. That way it's we can test each zone individually for Herber mining and skinning potential and that sort of thing. I've vowed that I will put more time and effort into things like gathering and farming this time round. And this is off the back of the fact that crafting was goated first season, and it usually is. But more than almost ever, we're seeing a drop off in season 2 and season 3 of like crafting viability for most people. You know, I always have to put the caveat here that some people will still be able to make an absolute wheelbarrow full of cash with crafting, even in the later seasons, but they are the exception to the rule and not the rule. The ease of access to some simple goal making is what's my main focus these days. Is it viable for somebody to spin up their profession at any point in the expansion and, you know, craft a few things of value that might be worth to somebody else? optimizing and min-maxing a profession to within an inch of its life using four different add-ons and 3 different spreadsheets, buying and using API scanning third-party websites to get your materials at the best price before mass producing and then sitting cancel scanning on reset day is the reason why some people can make a lot of gold with crafting throughout the entire expansion, but it's not the normal gameplay loop. Or it arguably shouldn't be. Those players are more than allowed to do that, but it shouldn't necessarily always come at the cost of anybody else being able to like make a little bit of something. 290,000 gold? What did we sell on Argent Dawn? Citadel Crusher foot wraps? Hello. Hello. Well, that paid for this month's game time. Citadel Crusher foot wraps. How much did I buy those for and when? Uh, 15,000 gold I paid for those 2 weeks ago. Flipped them out for 300k. Yoink. I told you standardized cosmetic BOEs will always be worth something. Now I'm annoyed I only bought one of them. There was probably only one of them at that price. Yoink. You paid too much. I paid too much. I sold them at the market rate. Why we scan for deals. Well, that's given me some liquid to spend on Argent Dawn, where I often and frequently run out because I buy all the students' mogs. Awesome flip, almost a free token. I mean, you need a few things like that to cover the cost of everything that you've bought that hasn't sold yet. This is why I live by the theory of that you don't actually make any gold, and you probably shouldn't be making any gold until you stop buying things. And it's only when you stop buying things and then just start continuously relisting and reselling do you and should you see your gold value going up. I've been spending the best part of a token a day on just stuff. So it's very nice to get those occasional sales, but they're not like profit in the bank. They're cost recuperation sales at this point. And especially since I started the day buying 4 tokens and 1.4 million gold in the hole. So I need a few more of those if possible. Game, if you're listening. But it's why we do it. It's why we do it. In the market, don't time it. Yeah, I like this. This is it, yeah. This is why even on a Saturday, on day 2 of the alpha, I'm relisting my auctions. Because if they're not on the auction house, you don't sell them. Simple. And if I don't sell them, you know, it's a waste. Oh, why does this dude not have... What's going on here? What's going on here? Why did the vendors not spawn in? Okay. How much are you making daily? I mean, I'm like I mentioned, I'm not really making anything. The revenue, I'm selling probably, I don't know, between 200 and 400,000 gold worth of stuff a day. In terms of what I'm actually selling, but that's not all profit, and that's also got to cover, like I mentioned, I'm spending probably almost a token a day on average on things to flip. So it depends what you value. If you want gold total to be going up, it's not really doing much of that right now. But the items available for sale and the revenue that's coming through each day is also increasing. So it's working, it's going in the right direction. Anybody using Plumber? How do you set it up? There isn't really any setup for Plumber. Plumber's also a toolbox add-on these days. It does a shitload of stuff. Oh, you're trying to do /plumber. Is there not a minimap icon? Can't you go into... Can't you just go into add-on options here? Plumber. Did you have time to look at wood chopping yet? No. We have not gone out into the open world all that much on the alpha yet. Yesterday was mostly spent in the city looking at professions. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Like I mentioned, there's a good chance today. I'm going to have to pick a character and take them through the quest lines and stuff and explore the zone a little bit. We'll give them herbalism and mining before we do it, so that anything we see on our travels we can pick up. We can start have a little bit of a look at gathering. Mostly because it's one of those things that I know if I don't put conscious effort into doing it early, I just won't get to it, and it will annoy me, and it will become one of those things that I should have done, but I didn't do properly, and yeah. We should start... I was too eager to dive into the fun stuff. We should start at the ground. We should start and work our way up. Especially since I know it's one of those things that I kind of want to take it quite methodically and just, not rush it. Whereas if I leave it to last, I'll feel obliged to just quickly zug it. Any leaks on the new herbs or ores? I just want to know them lore-wise. They're mostly... Interestingly, they're using sort of old vanilla type stuff. So, like, I think it's refulgent copper ore, umbral tin ore. So they're using sort of... there's a nod to the original materials in a lot of cases. Just with a midnight twist. If you just want a straight list of the materials, you'll find them on Wowhead. They'll have all been data mined now. You can actually scout data. Most of the data mining has happened now. Wowhead is not super duper. Don't don't set your clock by them, don't bet your house on them, but like there's information there, even if it's simplistic. And then in many cases, for like getting a first little understanding of what's going on, it's easier to do by just scouring through some database entries rather than trying to find it in the game naturally. I still have a frustratingly low amount of auctions on a lot of these realms. Although every time I open their mailboxes, I'm getting more and more Mechanicas, which I will eventually need to spend on stuff. I have pretty much decided now that I'm not going to harvest all of the Mechanicas and send them to 1-2, and I'm just going to wait until I get like 5 on a character, and then we'll exchange it for a pet and then sell it on that realm. I'm not expecting Mechanica pet sales to be all that frequent anymore, so I'm also in no real rush to utilize them. Mechanica still. What's the Mechanica price doing? Where is it on my tooltip? 34,000 gold sale average on a Mechanica now. The fact they're still above 30k a piece is nice to see. How are we doing, Stro? Welcome in. Good morning. Look who's here on a Saturday. Every day's a weekday. Going forwards. Alright, there's that lot done. One, two, three, four, five, six. Is that 7, 8? A few more. We're over halfway. We're over halfway. I am trying to get this done as fast as I can so that we can move on to alpha stuff. I know most people don't want to see me relisting all my auctions, but it's another one of those. If I don't get it done nice and early in the morning, it will never get done. A few little drip feed kind of sales here or there. Only one mega interesting sale today. At least so far. Nice 300k flip on a transmog was cool. Damn, it's Saturday. I forgot pizza day. Yeah, I didn't get pizza day. I made tacos last night. Barbecued some meat. Barbecued some pork steaks. Wife made some guacamole and some pico de gallo. Had some nice tacos. And she's gone to a food market today. So there's a chance she's going to bring back some random ass goodies from the food market. Rumour has it there's a fish and chip stall at the food market. So I might have to go visit that for lunch tomorrow. It's not often I get like proper fish and chips. Like proper English style fish and chips as well. You know, the good stuff. Which is so weird to say when I live in the Nordics. I can get fresh fish, no problem. But, you know, proper battered deep fried fish is surprisingly hard to come by. Take the Brit out of the UK, but you can't take the UK out of the Brit. You know it. Yep. I still I still have to specially order my Marmite. Because if I don't have Marmite on my toast in the morning, the day hasn't actually started. Much like my coffee. If I don't get my coffee. Although I'm not English enough to be obsessed by tea. I don't even like drinking tea. Tea's horrible. Give me a coffee any day. Some random ass gloves of strategy for 30k. Are those a flip or is that something I've looted and farmed? I must have bought these at some point somewhere. If I did, it's not in the last 30 days. Pressing the all-time button's a bit risky. Okay, Journalator doesn't seem to have any info about when I bought those. Well, 30k in the bank. My little town was a host to Fishing World Cup and all caught fish was distributed to the people, so I made a homemade fish and chips. Oh, nice! Now we're talking. What professions am I planning to take a look at today? Well, I've got 4 major crafting professions I still need to look at. I don't know if I'll get to those today. That's blacksmithing, tailoring, enchanting, and inscription. But I'm most likely to pick up herbalism and mining and go and play in the new zone a bit. This way I get a little bit of an idea on how gathering might start being, as it is kind of the linchpin to everything, really. If gathering's easy, then prices of materials are cheap and crafting profits are skinny. If materials are difficult to come by, then there's more margin in everything. I'm not at any point to be guaranteeing anything at the moment of what I'm doing. I don't even know how reliable the alpha's going to be. It was buggy as all hell yesterday. I was alright standing in the city just tinkering with professions, but anybody else that was out there trying to do things anytime people hit a load screen, they were risking disconnects yesterday, so we'll see how it plays. Not sure I'll ever get my citizenship approved here. I don't like fish and chips. Denied by default. That's kind of you gotta praise Liz. Rest in peace. And eat some fish and chips. Be all good. Fried fish is just very unhealthy for a fish. My friend, these are the kind of opinions that will get your citizenship denied. You are proving your point here. You don't want British citizenship anyway. Not worth. It used to be worth a lot. It's not worth a lot anymore. That said, I've lived in Finland over a decade now, and I still have no desire to go for Finnish citizenship. Another 13k on some razorfin war boots. Take that. I love the Finnish people and I love the country. But I've no desire to acquire citizenship officially. Nothing personal. Finnish women. I know, I married one. How you doing, Mikey? Welcome in. Means I can stop needing visas. That's about it, really. Oh, that's probably true. Yeah, I think my situation would be different if I was in the same position. I don't need full Finnish citizenship. I'm a fully fledged, fully authorized like resident. I don't need visas or none of that business. I've been here plenty long enough and have significant enough ties to the country that none of that's an issue. They couldn't get rid of me if they wanted to. This country's far too nice for me to ever leave it. Although they could do with knocking the taxes down a little bit. It's a very expensive country. Very expensive. But then again, if I ever have kids, then they're basically paid for until they're 18, which is beautiful. Do I speak Finnish? Not really. That's partly one of the reasons why getting Finnish citizenship would probably not be a thing. Why did it have nothing to post? Without being borderline fluent in Finnish, you can't get citizenship anyway. I can kind of reasonably well understand the language. But when it comes to talking it, it's a different story. And the issue is I kind of understanding, I understand Finnish, like, I learn English from a book, you know, like, I understand it from a concept of I kind of know the rules and how the word structure's put together and stuff like this, but it's, I'm not comfortable with, like, the colloquial spoken language. Ooh, what we sold here? Nether shard essence. Sure, 20k. Alcohol foreign language speak. Drink yourself fluent. I can understand how it was done. Yeah, time is money, friend. How we doing, Bear? Welcome in. Did you see, boys and girls? Bear made it into the news. Bear's officially famous these days. In a good or a bad way? Well, it wasn't the most positive of article, but it also wasn't her fault. Feel free to share the link, Bear. No, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, that pet battles seem to have been axed silently, taken out to pasture, without really any heads up, but we'll have to see how it plays out. YouTube is complaining that it's not getting any audio properly. That's not the case. YouTube, you lie. YouTube, you lie. Pet Battle's got the archaeology treatment. Yeah, a little bit. Looks like it. It's not been confirmed yet. But does look like it's been sunset, doesn't it? Do you remember when WoW used to have downtime? Now it's back-to-back events, and most of the time they're overlapping with time-limited rewards. It's... yeah. My opinion on that is not going to be probably the same as most other people's, though. Yes, I do remember when there was downtime in WoW. Yes, I also kind of remember when there was the opportunity to go and play other games and do other things. But at the very same time, it was often wildly frustrating paying for an expansion and paying monthly for something when there was often nothing to do. It's kind of it's a bit of a catch-22 situation there. My perspective on this, like I said, is going to be naturally different from others, because being in a content creator position, more is more as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I would much rather be in a position where I'm frustrated that I don't feel I can do everything than be in a position where I feel there is nothing to do. Imagine developing 3,000 plus pets and then removing them because of a patent error. It's a kick in the nuts to the plebs like me who liked pet battles. Well, yeah, it's yeah, like Bears pointed out, it's everything that currently exists will still continue to exist. It's just it doesn't appear as if they are going to be building on the system any further. Kind of like archaeology. like Mikey said, it's had the archaeology treatment. It feels like they're not adding anything new to it, but they're not taking it out either. It's just going to kind of sit there. Now, also, for the sake of clarity, Blizzard have come out and said absolutely nothing on this officially. I use the word officially there because there are some mutterings on more internal circles, but there's Blizzard have not said anything officially on the matter. Right, we're nearly there, boys and girls. I've only got a few more realms to check. I reckon Salvatore was also in charge of making pet battles work. And nobody knows how now. Hashtag bring back Salvatore. Yeah, we got that fun. We got that fun to figure out next week. I'm not really too concerned or worried about the lack of addition of new stuff regarding pet battles. It was kind of something that I tinkered with occasionally. Maybe once an expansion, I would take a few days out of my schedule to like do family battler achievements and this sort of stuff. Yet it was never personally something I ever put too much focus on. To be brutally honest, my biggest involvement with pets is flipping them, buying them and then selling them. Significantly more so than the pet battles themselves. And weirdly, it's kind of been a system for a long time that I think the amount of people that really actually enjoy pet battles is minuscule. Even people who enjoy pet battles are now so heavily utilizing, scripts and third-party website guides and stuff that they're not really playing pet battles. I mean, I'm one of the biggest culprits for this. I'll go onto a website and download a bunch of scripts, and as long as I've got the pets for the team, then the game, I mean, I press spacebar a few times and it just kind of works. I'm not, I'm doing it to get the reward, not doing it because it was something that I proactively enjoyed figuring out, sort of thing. But like I said, my lack of enthusiasm for the system in general shouldn't take away the fun that some people did have with it. I like the collecting part. The battles kind of suck. For me, it's the same as, dare I make the links to the old school Pokemon kind of stuff. Like, the original 150 Pokemon was enough for me to understand what they all did and what abilities they all had and which ones were good against each other and whatever. But when you have 700 different pets, by that point it's too much. By that point it's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let somebody that does know deal with it. Reminds me I need to message you. Yeah, I might need to be slightly more cautious with just how many pets I buy. If they are choosing to not add anything additional, it might rock the market prices of pets a little bit. But yeah, we can talk in DM about that. Sorry to appear and change. Bear, shut up. Honestly, in the nicest possible way. You're a celebrity. Suck it in. Get used to it. Do what I do. Rock up, call a fuss, and then peace out. Proto Tickles. Talk of selling and flipping pets. There's another one. Turn up, cause chaos, drop the mic and leave. What's this sorcery? This is not alpha. Yeah, I'm getting some basics out of the way. Coffee in and auctions out. And then we'll, I mean, we have got the alpha here. Whoa, that's loud. I'm not, I'm just me. You said goodbye to just me when you became an internet sensation. Why is that any different to people using weak auras? Touche. I mean, I'm guessing most of you here have probably also heard that weak auras are hanging up their coat for midnight. Weak auras have said that they're done. They're out. Now, I don't know the full ins and outs, and one thing I'm not very well educated on is exactly how these add-ons work and what's allowed and what's not allowed with these add-ons. But from anybody that does seem to know what they're talking about, the impression seems to be that Blizzard has been quite a little bit more nuclear about the changes to the add-ons API and stuff than they were first letting on that might be the case. The sentiment here is that they are probably going as far as they want to go, and then they'll sort of like tone it back a little bit so that they don't like. I mean, they said from day one they don't want add-ons to not be a thing. They just want very specific combat-related add-ons to not be a thing. They want, you know, they don't want there to be too many casualties caught in the crossfire. So they've gone nuclear, and they're probably going to like step it back a few notches. But they mostly seem to have achieved their initial goal, which was basically to give weak auras the boot, it feels. Which is kind of crazy, because weak auras had become something that had such dominance across so many areas of the game. From little buff trackers to full combat rotation assistance to, you know, look how popular over the last couple of expansions, like the to-do list kind of style weak auras, each different patch, tracking the rares and all of this sort of stuff have become, I mean, Christ, literally one of my favorite weak auras of this entire expansion that I've had running on nearly all of my characters this entire time. Like, is going to be a casual, this is going to be a casualty that gets caught in the crossfire. All of this sort of stuff is just going to have to be converted into, we're going to have to take a step back in that regard, rather than just quickly adding a weak aura into an add-on that we already have. These are just stuff like this is just going to have to get converted into its own separate add-ons again, and we're going to have to like deal with what's the add-on that does this, what's the add-on that does that, and we're going to have a list of add-ons 17 times longer than we need to, instead of just going, oh, here's the link to the weak aura that does it. So there will be quite a lot of casualties caught in the crossfire with weak auras saying their bye-byes to retail, but... Zero reason to remove combat add-ons after 20 years. Why now? Well, this is maybe not necessarily what everybody wants to hear, but it's clearly streamlining the retail experience so that it appeals to a much, 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 much wider audience. The simplification of specs, the addition of things like a one-button rotation helper. People are pushing back about the fact that the game is going very much in a direction that is clearly going to favor like console and stuff, but I don't totally understand what the problem with that is. It feels very gatekeeper-ish. I'm of the opinion that more players is just better, right? More players is better. The more people that play an MMO, the greater the sort of the life the MMO has. There's an awful lot of negativity towards WoW potentially going in a direction that it will be on console. And I'm like, it's just more people to play with. There's a greater chance that you will find other like-minded individuals to go and play your favorite aspect of the game with. Why is that a problem? Jesus, Streamlabs, chill out. My God. PC Master Race. Weak Aura's not continuing is not final. They gave scenarios in which it would make them continue. Blizzard already said they're going to roll back some restrictions, so they'll not be applied out of combat. Yeah, I read I'm not going to go through it on stream, but I read Weak Aura's sort of post on it. I think they posted it on their Patreon. I read their their we're done kind of post, and it didn't feel overly dramatized. It did feel like genuine concern. Like, these guys have been building the add-on for like 15 years, and the core concept of what has made weak auras is the in-combat assistance. And now, when that's your bread and butter, they said in not so many words that keeping the add-on around just for the sake of keeping the add-on around isn't really what they want to do. They'd rather go out on their shield, say, right, okay, we're done now, and otherwise it just ends up being a shell of what it once was, and I don't think they want that, which is fine. It's their add-on. Right. This, I think, is the last of the auctions to list. Now we can start thinking alpha. Was that the last team, or was there one more? Probably one more, but I don't think there's anything on them to sell. Probably just double check. Next goal is to get Blizz to allow personal info for add-ons, which would allow a lot of customization without mechanic automation. Okay. You spin that simplification thought further, do you think they might eventually, with a few expansions down the line, give the crafting economy the pet battle archaeology treatment, just neuter it and do a Diablo-style economy where everything you need you just have to farm? Probably not. And the reason I say probably not is because World of Warcraft is renowned for having one of the best, most successful economies in a video game literally ever. It's what, in my opinion, and I know I'm going to be biased on this, but in my opinion, it's one of the top 2 things that makes World of Warcraft World of Warcraft. They always, categorically, without fail, smash it with their raids. And the economy in the game is rock solid. Now, we may disagree with that second statement, but the point is that the game has been around 20 years and it is not imploded on itself. Which, from a simulated economy in a video game, basically nobody else has been able to do. Natty with a 54 months, by the way. Thank you very much for that. Welcome in. I hope you're having a good weekend. Thank you, thank you. Blizzard having one of the most successful economies ever simulated in a video game, I don't think is something that they would simplify out of the game just because. I think it's, whilst we joke that crafting isn't a pillar of play anymore, it is truly one of the most impressive things about this game. It applies to everybody that plays the game, even if they're not super avid fans of it. And in the last few expansions, that's only got better, not worse. You never played PoE? True economy? Nah. Not even close. Not trading exalts on a third-party website. Get bent. It's crazy talk. I know Path of Exile has a player-driven economy, but it's not in the same league. Right, okay. That is retail done for now. It's probably actually safe just to turn these accounts off now, since save system resources and all that. Okay. We'll have some in-game music, a little bit of it at least. And the music down a notch. I think I need to make a new tune to do the questing. We'll give him herbing and mining and we'll go do stuff. Character copy is not available, unfortunately. So we will just make a new character. weekend stream, by the way. I was surprised. Sorry, yeah. There's no such thing as a day off at the moment, I don't think. Oh no, wait. I want a max level tune, not a... Give me a level up tune. I'm out of coffee. Out of coffee's not a good thing. I think we need to replace this empty monster with a full one, don't we? Did I miss anything important? No, this is literally the first time I've logged on to the alpha. We're I'm about to go pick up herbing and mining, and we're going to do some of the zone and have a little look about. Do some questing. If I take herbing and mining while we do it, then I'll get a slow and steady feel for how gathering starts to look and feel. And also it'll do me a few materials that I might need to help level up some of the other professions as well. Right, let me go grab a drink real quick, and then we'll go. Is there an NPC in the alpha to get mats? No, annoyingly. Knowing my luck, they'll add it next week, just as we're busy doing remix stuff. I would have really liked there to have been the cheat vendors, but unfortunately not. Does kind of show just how much focus is being put on the testing of professions, doesn't it? What your goals for remix? Get stuff and dip. It's not even the irony for me is I'm not even bothered about the stuff. I'm genuinely not even bothered by all of the stuff. 8 million bronze is an absolute bananas level amount of bronze to have to farm, which I kind of signed myself off to ever getting anywhere near that. I will probably try and get a couple of million bronze to get the mounts. But that's not something I'm going to be able to do all in one go anyway, because they're going to be staggered release. So play it, level up, get some gear, see how it feels. I'm going to be pulled in two different directions anyway. You know, I can only be playing remix or on the alpha. I can't easily be doing both. So if it you know, I'm open to be sold on it. Because I know that remix is going to be... It's going to feel significantly different when everybody else is also playing it. There's not... you know, running it solo and running it on, you know, empty via testing. It's obviously going to feel different when everybody else is playing it, so we'll see. Is it a global launch? It's not, unfortunately. It basically comes with reset, this coming reset. Ha! Season 3. Thanks for that, Blizzard. Right. Let's get a few things. Auto loot on. Interface. Action bars. One of you, one of you, one of you. Probably one of you.
There is a vision being seen.
Edit mode. Get my UI in order.
We believe
switch to Beastmaster, because screw survival.
Meet me in Silithus. We must ask Azeroth's speaker what this vision means.
Was that the case for Mop Remix? No, Mop Remix actually had a global launch. I don't mind a good global launch for events like this, because then everybody gets to run off and do it. It does mean that I'm probably not going to have too much desire to completely zug remix either, because I'm going to watch people play it on NA before I go to bed, and then I'm going to get up and do it myself. Let's get some abilities in the right places. Just give me starter build. Yep, one of you. Right, let's get some bars in order. Why is ranged weapon? Why do I not have a ranged weapon? Give me a bow. Okay, right. Cobra shot, you. You're shift 3, you're that. What the hell's turtle? Shift F usually. E, Q is usually this one. Trank shot I think is shift 5 under normal circumstances, or is trank shot shift E? Trank shot's probably shift E. I rarely press survival of the fittest because I just don't. Right, that's my buttons I think. Am I missing anything? Nobody uses binding shot. Nobody uses flare. Wing clip. Nobody uses. They could have pruned some of the shit that I don't use. Not taking away barrage and multi shot. Damage is increased by 300% if Wild Thrash hits 2 or more enemies. Okay. That's now a 4 ability. Well, actually, that's the equivalent of multi-shot these days. Yeah, multi-shot's gone. Multi-shot is a marksman ability now. We have this Wild Thrash ability. It's going to be weird. Just as I start getting used to all of this, I'm going to go play Remix and I'll have all of my abilities back again. My brain is going to be so flipping screwed with what abilities we have and where and why and who and where and what. All of the things. Right, let's grab some gathering professions then on this dude. Oh, we haven't got a mount either. Standard albino Drake. We're going old school. Yes. Why have I got no dragon riding abilities on my bar? Where have they gone? We need surge forward. We need ascend. We need where's the whirling surge? 3. Where's me? Reach within untapped reserves and instantly regenerate a charge of your skyriding abilities. That's Q. Okay. I'll put switch flight style down here. Warband we'll put down there. Okay. I think we're ready to go. Okay, I need herbing and mining. We can get that when we go out there. Get this report to the trading post quest out of the way. Go. Go.
It's a good day for buying.
Shut up. Right. For absolutely no reason whatsoever. I'm curious if anybody's put anything on the auction house. No. Still that one. Who's bothering to keep that one, those 7 saxifrage on the auction house at a bajillion gold? So funny. Can you stand by a post and type /lean?
I need to target
Oh, apparently not, no. I kind of missed. Do you have access to all the professions preview, or can you only check the ones you've already posted on YouTube? I have access to all of them. I just haven't got round to looking at all of them yet. I'm only, you know, we're literally only on day 1, day 2. Today I'm going to start off by actually playing the content a little bit and exploring and leveling up the toon and looking at the first zone, and we're going to do that with herbalism and mining. So I'll be able to get a bit more of an understanding of material acquisition. I need some ore for blacksmithing. I'm going to need some ore for jewel crafting. I'm going to need some herbs for inscription. So, yeah, I need some stuff.
Pleasantries can wait. Shorel Aran. Aldiel Shalom.
Obviously, standard disclaimer, it's alpha. There's the chance of spoilers. I will try my best not to play any, like, lore exposing cutscenes and whatever, but if you pay too much attention to the quests, that's on you. Right, it does look like I'm going to have to do this little intro quest line on a bunch of toons.
Aldiel Shalom. Fight well.
Mounts are not allowed here. Actually, if we've just got the one account open, we can jack up the graphicals, make it look all shiny. Yeah, let's have everything on. 4K max settings while streaming 50 FPS. Let me also slightly move my camera now that we're game. Flipping out, there's over 100 of you lurking in here. Jeez Louise. Welcome in, boys and girls.
My faith is my shield. Didn't come this far to falter now.
Hashtag Twitch Prime. I need Stanley again, don't I? I need to get Stanley to do some sellout for me. Like the new nameplates. There's pros and cons to them. There's pros and cons to them for sure. For example, being able to set up different profiles for enemies and for friendlies would be appreciated. Because when I'm killing an enemy, I don't really care too much about its name. I care more about how much health it's got. But then friendly mobs, I couldn't care less about how much health they have. I care more about their name, for example. So there's kind of, they're the same color as the DK class color. Well, yeah. There's going to be a few little things like this that's going to take a little bit of tweaking and tuning. But then again, I never use like highly customized plater profiles or anything, so as far as I'm concerned, it will just be getting used to something new, which is fine. I'll tell you what button I haven't got on my bars, and that's Men Pet. Quick, Men Pet. I'm absolutely going to need Pet Revive as well. I'm sure I'm missing something else, but we'll get to it when we get to it. What item level are you at? 80? These pre-made characters are level 80, which is we tried to work this out the other day, somewhere in the equivalent of like Champion 1 type gear, mid-season 3 gear. Some people have been able to character transfer. It seems to be turned on and off at random on the alpha. People who are like item level 700 in retail right now are turning up with like 150 item level.
Greetings.
I must admit that level 80, we feel really squishy in this little intro bit, but you very quickly get given item level 120 gear, so that's like a huge jump. That's, you know, much closer to something that might be useful. I turn nameplates on only in arena PvP. I find it more irritating than helpful in PvE, and especially mass PvP.
How may I?
This is the thing, right? If Blizzard are going to bring all of these add-ons in-house and get to... They're then going to get the brunt of the feedback, aren't they? They're going to have to deal with the excessive level of customization that people want and have not only had, but have had for a long time. It's going to be a real undertaking for them to... But it's also going to have to just be a culture shift. You know, the wound is wide open right now. You know, if we start seeing some major add-ons, you know, pack up shop, close the doors, and that transition is going to feel a bit gross. But it'll be a culture shift. You know, by the last Titan, people will have flipping forgot about it all, you know. Do you know what Turbo HUD is? It was the D3 cheat mode, right? Diablo 3 cheat mode, wasn't it? Turbo HUD. Gave you like a big old mini-map and see-through walls and all sorts of shit. WoW will have it like D3 did. I mean, you can already simulate that sort of stuff. A lot of it, like the overscreen, the screen overlays and stuff. Sure, probably doesn't break the bounds of the minimap or something, but... Okay, already in the last 24 hours, it looks like they've adjusted this little intro quest. Filling this bar is 99 times easier than it was the first time I did this 24 hours ago. This was a real flipping slog to do the first time. They've hotfixed this for sure. I think it's probably because Dan did an interview. Mr. GM did an interview with Ian the other day, and I vaguely remember he made the off-the-cuff comment that this first intro bit was an absolute chore. And so he's probably gone away and been like, fix this. We can't have the limited amount of people on Alpha finding the intro quest line an absolute chore. Otherwise, nobody's going to test anything. Never used weak auras, but it's fun to watch people throwing all the tantrums. I don't, like I said, I don't have any ill feelings against anybody that's kind of annoyed by it right now. I kind of think that they're right to be kind of annoyed by it. But it, you know, it's if you've been, you know, the tool has been there to use. Whether you've used it or not is on you. If it is a tool that you have heavily utilized over the years, to have that rug pulled from you is going to be frustrating.
Faith kindles my hope.
I mean, it's also probably a little bit difficult right now because only a very select handful of people have access to the alpha by the looks of things. Additionally, on top of that, it's, you know, Blizzard clearly hasn't added everything that they're going to add into it. I mean, there's no damage meters being added yet, which is, you know, a huge component. If an add-on like Details is going to really struggle to do what they do, then Blizzard absolutely needs to come out and showcase their equivalent real damn quick, I think. We're testing things like nameplates and stuff in this first build. You know, they're drip feeding in some of these UI changes that they're making, so, you know, we'll just have to see how it all plays out, honestly. But feedback is good to be given. The new Beastmaster Pet Cleave that's replacing Multishot, is it a talent or is it baseline? There's this talent called Wild Thrash. Command your pet to thrash all enemies within 10 yards, dealing a bunch of physical damage. Damage is increased by 300% if Wild Thrash hits 2 or more enemies. Damage reduced beyond 8 targets. Did I have to spec into that? Or was it baseline? You have to spec into it, but I think you're going to find it very hard to not spec into it because it's right at the top of the tree.
Serve as Regent Lord.
430k in a week from farmed Mog. Take it, man. Take it. Over a token's worth of juice.
Walk in the light.
Ooh, rare upgrade. Upgraded to rare, stayed same item level. Great.
I greet you on behalf of Sin.
Oh, skip cutscenes. Skip cutscenes as much as possible. Be rescued.
Baladash Malanoi.
Be rescued.
Hold your head high.
Related to what you said yesterday, perhaps crafters could create sets that give you bonuses in delves. Yeah, I think there's a lot of avenues that they could explore with crafted gear that isn't impactful to the sort of end game gearing loop. I think, especially now that raiding is a thing, Mythic Plus is a thing, delves are a thing. It gets messy if you have the thing that Blizzard tries to avoid, because they've teetered with this before. They try to keep PvE one gear set and PvP one gear set. But let's not forget, it took them years and years and years and years and years to even get to that point. And I think they don't want to fragment. They don't want to make a scenario where you have 5 different gear sets for each different bit of content you do. you already are likely to possibly have some gear that you swap in and out, maybe possibly between specs. There appears to be a very strong emphasis on not making too many different gear sets be mandatory for, you know, optimized gameplay. But you're right, I do think that crafting is somewhere where they could have some set bonuses or do something interesting with some pieces of gear. Benefits, you know, a cheeky 2-piece bonus for when you go do delves, I think is fine. You just don't want to be replacing an entire set of gear to go do delves, or swapping out a full set of gear when you go do Mythic Plus or something. Could you still level via Chromie time and party sync with a trial account abusing rares in Elwyn? Asking for a friend? I don't know. I don't know. These are the kinds of things that I will put on the list, but I will be brutally honest, I might not get to them. That's the kind of thing to test when beta's out and we can all have a poke around.
Yes. Time is of the essence.
I still need to heal up a bunch of people.
I need to target something first.
The dark times will pass. They're rare.
I also haven't spec'd into misdirect, have I? It's interesting that they don't make misdirect part of the starter build. It seems like something that should probably be taught to players quickly and early. Then again, there are dead holes in the entire Hunter build right now. I'm interested in seeing what decor drops in old raids and dungeons. Yeah, I know I haven't put much focus on player. I haven't put any focus on player housing yet, really. Some people were really proactive about jumping in and getting a list of like materials and stuff. I do want to kind of build on that a little bit to try and find out any decor recipes, where they come from and how we get them. But what I've also noticed looking at the professions is that a lot of the recipes are real placeholder and clearly not finished. So I will give things a bit of a once-over with that. But I got to get the basics done first this week. Basics being get an overview of each profession. Get a little bit of leveling in the zone done so I can get some herbing and mining. And then we can start cherry picking a few more niche areas to break apart and have a look in. The alpha's up for, you know, we've got this for the next 4 or 5 weeks until it rolls into beta, and then everybody can pile in. So we're only on day 2. There is plenty of time. We will get to these things. I just, you know, I've got to be realistic with what I can and look at. There was a rare here yesterday in a chest that I found as well. Doesn't seem to be here right now. Can anybody? No, the alpha's unfortunately invite only. You can, if you do !alpha, you can, if you sign up to beta test, that does also put you in the list for testing the alpha. It's a sign up for testing pre-release content. You can play the RNG game and see if you get a invite to it in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th phases. Obviously, there's no guarantee. It puts you in the pool of people. It's with alpha being invite only, it's know somebody or be somebody situation at the beginning. There's a small amount of people that are invited randomly. There we go, new slain. Now we're getting into the city properly. What's my thoughts on it so far? From what I've seen, I mean, the art team always absolutely smashes it out the park. I'm not paying too close attention to like story related stuff, but I will be honest that it actually is performing and feels better than what I've seen alphas in before. Let me put it that way. There are often times where things are like not only broken, but like not even you can't even go near them level broken. Like your game will just die if you go anywhere near it, sort of thing. This is they've clearly put quite a bit of effort into making sure that the public build for the alpha and the things that they want people to test. Hang on, I'm about to die. Okay. Yeah, they've clearly made a conscious effort to make sure that the things that they want people to test function well enough and are developed enough that they are actually genuinely testable. But yeah, general overview feelings about it so far is it's way too early. I've basically not done anything yet. I've basically done nothing in it yet. I've done the intro quest line and I've tinkered with a few professions. I've not even unlocked my player housing or anything yet. So at the end of the day, we've got to remember it's an MMO. Like, it's a game that's not designed to be done in 5 minutes. Which also then means when it comes to testing, I'm going to try and focus on what I think my area of expertise is, which is going to be very, very, very profession focused. There'll be many other people out there that are able to test the things that they're more specialised in. I have my suspicions that Bear, for example, might live in her player housing, tinkering and building a house and doing the collecting sort of stuff and checking out pets and that sort of thing. Where I am more likely to stand at a NPC and break apart the mechanics of a profession. I think anybody with access to the alpha now is wise to focus on the thing that they're best at. How do we get up here? We have the same beverage choice. These flipping white monsters, man. I don't even really like the taste of them. But they are more subtle than your average monster. My favourite is a Mango Loco. No questions asked. Mango Loco, absolutely goated, top tier monster. The green one, the original monster, I will happily drink it. But I also can't get past the fact that it does actually taste like battery acid. But a sugary, sweet tasting battery acid. White monster though is kind of like smooth is the wrong word to use for any energy drink, isn't it? But it's just more subtle in its flavour. It's easy to just slurp on. Interestingly though, I would much rather if it did have sugar in it. I think one of the reasons that I'm more offensed by this is the fact that it's the zero sugar one. I'd rather it just have real sugar in. I haven't tried the turquoise one. It's mango. I've chose not to have. That's once again, it's the sugar-free one. I try to avoid the sugar-free ones because I don't really like the sweetener thing in them. Just put some in. just a spoon in sugar into the monster. Fucking hell, that's a recipe for disaster, isn't it? Jesus. Hope they turned down the noise for this intro quest. It's so annoying. There is deliberate kind of like... There is deliberately a lot of background noise to this quest line because it's... I think they're trying to make it feel sort of like we're, you know, we're fighting a war, we're charging through. It's kind of like that distant battle noise permanently playing, which... Yeah, I can see that getting a touch frustrating. It's less frustrating than standing next to the engineering trainer, though. Watch the engineering video. Was the ranged weapon removed from engineering? Yeah, I didn't spot this on my first pass through, but it was pointed out to me that yes, there is no crafted gun. It's at the moment it is just braces, helms, and boots. The chances are that it's, I don't know, it's maybe a bow by inscription or something like that. It'll be somewhere else, it's just not in the hands of engineering this time. Or at least it isn't currently. The fact that the spec trees look relatively solidified for the professions though does kind of make me think that they're unlikely to add anything more to the professions than what we see right now. Sure, they will fix the recipes that exist and whatever, but I'm not totally sold that, because something like the gun, for example, would often also have a pairing in the tree spec into this to be good at making weapons, sort of thing, which if that's not there, you can kind of tell that the design was to not have it in this time. My fireplace now. Finish my Lego bonsai. Oh, you got the Lego bonsai tree. Let's have a look. Wait, you've got a... What? You've got a fireplace in a chest of drawers? What the fucking hell's going on there? Bonsai's nice, though. Like a bit of a shrine. Very smart. Shit, I'm dying. How does it feel without multi-shot? I'm going to be honest, I'm scrolling a mouse wheel right now. I'm not really paying that much attention. So in that regard, it doesn't feel any different whatsoever. I've done this twice already before. I'm just trying to get through this really so I can get into the city. I know that's not the answer people are looking for, but... the thing for me not having multi-shot will be that I often have my pet doing pet things on one mob, and then I'll use multi-shot to round up a bunch of bonus mobs. You know, that was where I would often use multi-shot. It was utility, nice bit of utility for me. Obviously, not too long ago, we also would have, you know, lent on barrage to do that exact same thing, but that's not an option now either. Finding his pets as always. It's alright, they'll survive. Mr. Krabs is over it. Mr. Krabs over here is a strong independent crab. You got this. Misdirect barrage, yeah. And then just watching everything run to your pet. And your pet's like, ah! Where did all these mobs come from? They got rid of multi-shot. It's a marksman ability now. Beastmasters have this wild thrash ability. Command your pet to thrash all enemies within 10 yards, doing a bunch of damage. Increased if it hits multiple targets. So it's kind of multi-shot out, but wild thrash in. The argument for it is it's, you know, Beastmaster. It's more focused on your pet doing stuff. Is the theory. There's an artisan's cache. Picked one of those up and disconnected yesterday as well. It's risky touching these things apparently. That's kind of the reason why we're here. Do the risky thing. These are your standard ass treasures, I think, that are dotted around the place. Seemingly not really much of a loot table right now. Shit. It got turned off. Any word on dirt piles? I've barely stepped foot outside the intro quest line so far, but that will be answered by the end of the day. We're gonna pick, once we get into the capital city, we'll pick up herbalism and mining, and then we'll, you know, explore the rest of what the rest of the starter zone has to offer. Most of today will probably be spent not at a vendor, not at an NPC looking at professions, but out in the world doing a bit of real world testing. It's a bit of a wombo combo way to take a look at herbing and mining. I'm frustratingly really fighting a headache right now, which is going to be slightly frustrating. I hope it just goes away. Hoping by the time all the caffeine kicks in, we should be good. Skippable on alts. It might be, but I might also not have actually finished it. To have unlocked any sort of skip. My suspicion is it probably will, but it might be like it was in The War Within, where if you remember, you actually had to finish the campaign before you got any form of skip. Meaning that in week 1, if you wanted a bunch of characters in, you had to do the intro quest on all of them.
Didn't come this far to falter now.
Until you'd completed the campaign on one character, and then you got an account-wide skip. Which will not be accessible, because we can only get to like 83 in the first zone in this week's alpha. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens. My first order of business in any expansion release is to find the poo quest. There's at least one in each. What? Like I said, people should stick to what they're good at, clearly. Oh boy. There's a lot of lurgies going around at the moment. Had a nasty dose of the dreaded over the last few weeks. I've been feeling for the last little while that I'm on the edge of being ill without actually being ill. Now I can often strike that up to not having the most healthiest of diets all the time, but I don't know. I absolutely better not be getting ill. We've got far too much going on right now to be ill. Crazy talk. Are we looking at another concentration alt situation, or have they dealt with that as well? Well, it's kind of too early to really know, because it could actually go two ways. Now, I can understand, and this is going to have to be a topic for its own dedicated video, but it will probably happen once I've got my first look at all the professions done, because concentration is still a thing. We are yet to fully understand the impact of having only two qualities of materials and commodity items, because that's clearly going to have an impact. We don't necessarily know if it's going to be good or bad for the purpose of concentration crafting. We can assume that it's going to be quicker and easier for you to start pressing concentration on an alt, because you don't need to, there's less that you need to do. Like in the War Within right now, you have to at least get to the point where you can solidify quality 2 so that you can press concentration and make it quality 3. But that means there's a few things you have to do, like your concentration build has to be, in order first. With only 2 qualities, you will, the very second you get that recipe, be able to press concentration and make a high quality something. So arguably the barrier to entry is less in that regards, but that's not the only thing that makes concentration work, right? One of the key reasons why concentration works and makes a profit for people is that there's a substantial difference in price between quality 2 and quality 3 materials. Until we get a stronger understanding of just how the materials are curated, how easy is gathering, how quickly are we going to start seeing high quality materials turn up, are they going to be really rare and so really pricey at the beginning, or is gathering going to allow people to very quickly overcome normal materials and end up only farming? There's lots of questions, and it won't be until we've got many more answers before we'll easily be able to see what the viability of concentration will be as a way to make gold. And if it does allow you to make gold, can you then do it on 50 characters to make 50 times the gold? It's not as straightforward a question as You know, the shuffle, for example, the profession shuffle is pretty much dead as a dodo because they've done the one thing that just neuters it from the word go. You know, okay, now your artisan security is profession specific. Well, now you've got no reason to pull it from other professions to spend on one to begin with. That's quite easy and clear a change to spot from a mile away. Doesn't really rely on anything else. But yeah, the concentration question is, there's a lot more nuance to it that we need to figure out first. How do we get upstairs? Blame the puppy. Kids with disease magnets. I don't think I'll have caught anything off the dog, but the fact that I've not had even the closest thing to a lion in a while now would also have some effect. It's easy. I'll go pop a paracetamol, finish me monster, and then the headache should go away. I'll take a look at the shop in a minute. I don't know if it's updated. I doubt it is. Most systems in the game assume it's just Season 3 of The War Within right now. When you load in a character, it says, "Welcome to Season 3." So I'm going to assume that things like the store is also the same. Well, it's not even there. That's an easy answer. There might be some console command or something to bring it up, but Mrs. Mantheus feeling better. Yeah, she has. Yeah, I guess is the easy answer. Where's this last weapon? There it is. Last one? No, shit, there's two more. Now, what have I missed? One here. Check out my fireplace. Hang on, Rose, I'm dying. Check out fireplace in a minute.
I need to target something
Please hold.
first.
Where's the last? Oh god, this is why I'm dying, because I keep aggroing shit I shouldn't. Fake news, they often feign death. But see what he did there. They often do, unless I'm playing, where I often just completely forget to press the buttons I'm meant to be pressing.
I need to target something first.
I have one job, keep the pet alive, and I fail that one so very frequently. You? Alright, you're the big dude. Blow him up. Get him gone. One more weapon, I think, in here somewhere. I'm gonna guess it's upstairs. I am looking forward to being able to do a character copy and then testing just how different this feels with some like sizable gear. Because running around in item level 85 right now is a bit painful. Apparently 700, 710 item level converts to about item level 150, which is a huge difference in power, I think. But this is the suspected power level of somebody that's just dinged 80 by leveling. So you can equate that to the equivalent of a freshly dinged level 80 in retail is clearly going to be significantly more weak source than our fully end of expansion geared tunes. This is playable, but it is slow. Reminds me how I want a necromancer support that doesn't heal but resurrects and reanimates fallen teammates. That's a cool concept, but it would completely break how most group content is designed, wouldn't it? Because combat reses are meant to be savoured and sought after, very carefully assigned. Necromancer would come along and be like, you know, hold my beer. Which would make that concept very difficult to implement. Imagine the repair bills. Yeah, your tank could be like, stop letting me f***ing die. Silly thing is I don't need to even kill these. It's just I've aggroed them and I'd probably make them disappear. Right, where's the there we go. Yoink. That's what we're after.
The light welcomes you, champion.
How are professions looking so far? They have taken simplification to heart. They are making changes to technically simplify professions, but I'm so far slightly concerned that their use of the definition simplification is just to shave things off the professions, not to make some of the pain points go away. So there is an element of concern there. But other than that, they're looking alright. Nothing. The difficulty for me is that their definition of simplification is going to mean that there doesn't really feel like anything super new or juicy to pay attention to, because the cuts are outweighing the additions so far. But I have only looked at a few of the professions so far. I've only really looked at about 3 or 4 of the crafting professions in like serious depth. I need to really look at them all at least a little bit before I sort of, you know, come to an overall conclusion. It's difficult because some of the headline things right now are like thaumaturgy is out, which for goblins at least, for players who enjoy playing with the professions, not having thaumaturgy is a clear and obvious nerf in general. Not necessarily the simplification we were looking for, you know, just slicing something out and getting rid of it. It's kind of, you know, it feels a little bit like you get a splinter in your finger, and so they're like, right, well, we'll chop the hand off then. Is the vibes I'm getting at the moment. But like I said, I don't want to be too Debbie Downer on it because it's still very early days and I haven't really looked at everything yet. Gotta go to work. Give me compliments on my fireplace already. Oh, hang on. Flipping hell, that's more than a few pictures. You've put a TV screen behind a shelf to make a fire. I see what you've done there. Alright, that's actually ridiculously borderline ingenious. I like that. That's actually quite clever. Oh shit, what's going on now? Oh no, I'm lagging behind. I'm gonna die. Rose, you're gonna get me killed. Bishop of Secrets. Don't most bishops have secrets? Secrets that even the Lord may not forgive. The Thaumaturgy balanced out the reagents in the economy, though. I thought it was a genius move by Blizzard, to be honest. This is the opinion of many that understand how the system worked, yeah. But the very, very loud noise from the people who didn't understand how the system works was, this is too complicated, I don't like it. Which, to me, was the wrong feedback to listen to. Simplification to me would be making the spec trees easier to understand, would be improving the catch-up system, making seasonal focused updates to the professions. This is where I think simplification would be useful to have. Better tooltips so that people understand how shit works, not just like carving things out of the professions. If you can carve thaumaturgy out of alchemy, but if your spec trees are still like, ah shit, what spec tree do I need to make this thing? It's still going to look and feel exactly the same to the people who said it was too complicated to begin with, you know? While simultaneously, if you just straight up delete something like thaumaturgy, you have to take that into consideration when you look at how all of the gathering professions and stuff work. You need to then make a decision that, right, well, if we're going to get rid of something that balances out the materials, we're going to have to make sure that a similar amount of materials are relatively the same amount of effort needs to go into getting those. Or we need to try and make some materials significantly more difficult to get so that they maintain a higher value. So there is a difference between normal and high quality components. Like, there's lots of aspects that need to go into it. If you just start chopping bits out, then you might run into a problem where the entire system just falls apart even more. 12.0 currency, general currency. Okay. Critical placeholder material to provide designers the ability to provide materials to players. Okay, so they've added this without knowing what the 12.0 currency is going to be.
Aldiel Shalah. Remain.
But they've done it so that players can get some of it and see how much of it that they get. Alright, sure. Rip skinning. It's difficult to argue that a lot of the economy has been kept alive by skinning this expansion, which I'm not sure if we really know the full story of this, because I'm not super big on my farming anyway. I don't do enough of this firsthand to have truly first-hand experience of, you know, how gathering feels. I've had lots of people tell me that herbing and mining has been completely and utterly useless the entire expansion. But then I've also had lots of people turn around and say that, yeah, they've been able to make a steady 30k an hour with herbing and mining the entire expansion. So I've heard two very contrasting opinions on this sort of stuff. And that makes me think that it's got more to do with the fact that a fully set up herb miner has all the finesse, deftness, probably the correct experience, doing the right routes. You know, when you've got all of those passive boosts, you probably can still get enough stuff to make it worthwhile doing, but a brand new fresh herb miner might be fucking useless. There's nuance to this quite often, and I just kind of hope arbitrarily slicing things out isn't what they've done, just to call things simplify. I don't know. This is why we need to be able to actually play with the professions a little bit. Without the cheap vendors, I can't really dive into them and play with them to see how they feel. I can just kind of look at them and sort of say, oh, okay, well, alchemy has potions and alchemy has flasks and enchants. Okay, here's some weapon enchants. Like, I can only look at surface level at the moment. Are they removing vigor, so mining and herbing won't be so bad? Well, they're removing vigor, but we now have a charge system in place. So it's the same but different. Rather than you being able to choose what you spend your vigor on, each ability now just has a charge system. So if you are constantly using the same ability, you will run out, you will put it on cooldown. You test when you're able to, if the loot changes are also on the alpha. Yes, we can at some point hop onto like a hyperspawn location and see if the same scenario is a thing. I'm still a steady flight person. I can see that. I can see that being a thing. I can see a lot of people still using steady flight. And actually, in some cases, steady flight, even though it's slower, is easier to control and more reliable. Liking the stat squish. How we doing, Mr. Goldson?
I don't have a time.
I've not really had chance to like really poke around with how classes feel. I'm hoping today that I can play the zones enough and get some hands-on experience with how the game sort of feels. It's also difficult to gauge when we've only got pre-made characters right now. Might be worth leveling a new character just to see how it plays. I love alpha season and I love beta season, but at the same time I have to try really hard to like stay. I'm so distracted by squirrels in retail that I have to try doubly hard to not get distracted by squirrels on the test realms, because it's difficult when it is an MMO at the end of the day. There is arguably meant to be more shit than you can possibly do. And the concept of testing is usually doing something many more times than you would naturally do it. Yeah, you're right. I'm not pulling a huge amount of stuff at the moment. I'm pretty much having to like single target most stuff down. And for all intensive purposes, multi-shot has just been basically exchanged by Wild Thrash, so it's not that different. You don't have the convenient utility of multi-shot, being able to like tag multiple mobs, but that's a really big deal.
I need to get close.
Which professions tend to die off the hardest at the end of an expansion? Oh, I mean, all of them. If I was to really pick one that probably falls off a cliff the hardest, it would be anything that's like I mean, alchemy tends to have an incredible decline, because there comes a point to why would anybody be buying potions to be more powerful when they've completed all the gear? I mean, like I said, they all fall off a cliff. The basis of supply and demand, really. When the demand disappears, the value in the professions disappear. Your pet die. What item level is Molten Core gear? Oh. What's the relevance of Molten Core gear? What have I missed? What have I missed here? $38. Good guess, Mikey. Some might be 38, some might be 36, I don't know. 38, yeah.
Pleasantries can wait. Shorel Aran.
The beauty of Eversong endures.
Maybe a better question is over the course of an expansion's life cycle, in what order do they die off? I'm going to be honest, I think my answer is still the same. Like, most of the professions are sort of... the value in crafting is heavily dependent on the need for player power. In most cases, and so it's seasonal based upon the raid more than anything else. The raid brings huge amount of demand for gear, consumables, enchants, gems, the likes, and then once players are geared and are no longer hunting down upgrades, then all of the professions get very quiet very quickly. There's not really an order to them per se, as much as it is they all sort of all sort of rise and fall in a similar way. We did see this little quest line yesterday. Touch. Might have to quickly blitz through it again. Should though now be able to go and grab herbalism and mining.
On the rise. Silvermoon will know prosperity again. What I do for Quelfer.
Right, we need to go say hello to people. Need to try and remember where the herbalism and mining trainers are. I think there's one on one side and one on the other. Herbalism, I seem to remember, was out here somewhere. Alchemy supplies, jewel crafting, tailoring in there. Maybe a herbalism's in here. Inscription, herbalism, there we go.
Glory to
Yoink.
the Sindori. Remember the Sunwell.
Go get mining as well. Mining trainer, beautiful.
The reckoning is at hand.
Right, give me 2 minutes, boys and girls. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. I need to go run and slam a paracetamol or something so I can get rid of this headache, because otherwise we're going to get nothing done. We'll have a little bit of an overview of herbalism and mining from the profession window, and then we'll get out and try and, you know, pick up a few things and see what's going on. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be back in a few. Right, who won? Who won? Who was beating up? Who was beating who? Okay, right. Where do we get to? Oh, hello. Well, I'll put this full screen now, actually. Graphics. Windowed, full screen. Better. You tend to get slightly better game performance when it's full screen anyway. Right, herbing and mining. Let's take a little bit of a look. We got our journals and stuff again. Thalassian phoenix tail. A rare flower native to the general region of Quel'Thalas. Its vibrant colour and fine texture lent themselves to its name, invoking the ever-smouldering plumage of Silvermoon's phoenixes. You may discover 6 more samples this week. Herbalist Moxie, same scenario again. Bit of info about knowledge. Bit of info about quality. Quality can affect items in several ways. Gathered reagents can range from no quality, low quality, or high quality. That kind of makes it sound like there's still 3 qualities. Sure. Basic herb, basic ore, basic herbs, and skin will have quality, whilst other materials will not. It says nothing about catch-up within here. We will have to investigate further. Mulch is apparently a thing again. Not that I think it was ever utilized at all previously. We can't see the spec trees until we got Midnight Herbalism to 25. Probably the same scenario for mining as well then, I would guess. Wow, even less on the mining screen. Not even any info about... Not even any info about the boundless knowledge options on the mining screen. Well, we can fly around and pick stuff up at least. Do we switch flight style? Do we have tracking? Can we do tracking? Find herbs, find minerals? We just go on a bit of a, we go try find some. Explore a little bit. I apologise the fact that it's going to be dark because the alpha's on NA time zone, so it's like the middle of the night. It's like 3 AM as far as the server's concerned. Oh, hello. What are you? What are you? Humble Tin. Big old chonkus. It's quite the ore node, that. Look at it in size comparison. It's huge. Massive. Hunter-gatherer. Yeah, boy. Boom. World first Umbral Tin. Midnight mining knowledge 1. That's for the discovery of Umbral Tin, by the way. That wasn't just pure luck. 3 pieces of tin. Oh shit, I'm dead. Gift of the Phoenix. A treasure. Sunstrider's vessel.
Is that your wallet? Or are you just glad to see me?
What happened here?
Both, I hope.
Carrying a basin enchanted to safely can collect Phoenix cinders. Oh, okay. Sam, thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate it. Welcome in. Thank you, thank you. Carrying Phoenix Cinders. I have no idea what this does. Too slow. 3. 4. Go on, birdie. Give me your flaming poop. What were we talking about? Poop quest earlier? I'm literally collecting Phoenix poop in a bowl. Stacking poop buff. I'm assuming I do this and then take it somewhere. Do I get 5 stacks and take it back, maybe? It won't let me get any more than 5 stacks. Ooh. What be this? Nothing. Go again. Ah, we got so close. Don't work. Oh. Oh. Okay. F6. Collected 5 bird poop in the bowl. Can't wait till somebody reads that feedback. What's it called? The gift of the Phoenix. Okay, no bird poop for me. We tried. We tried. Light fused tranquility bloom. Mote of light. Well, so we can say mote of light comes from herbalism. Fulgent copper. Where are you? Boink. Big old nodes this time round. Chonky. Chonky chonky. Okay, so we want quality 1, quality 1. Got moats. We got quality 1 turning up with the herbs. Rare. We'll ignore the rares for now. Where you got your TSM groups for transmog? I don't really have TSM groups for transmog. There's no need for TSM groups for transmog. Slam everything in a group. You post and buy it usually based upon the same sort of sets of rules, so. Oh wait, what shit? Why did I get dismounted? Not be doing that, please, game. Oh, you absolutely can't miss these things, can you? Among Us. Chat, check your BattleNet. Looks like some accounts got flagged in the past few hours. Oh, okay. Good to know. Go have a little looky, boys and girls. Sanguithorn. We've got Tranquility Bloom is your basic one. We got Sanguithorn as an uncommon herb so far. I don't think these herbs are much of a surprise to people if you've had a bit of a poke around on things like Wowhead, but it's nice to see them in the flesh. Light fused copper node. Presumably going to get some more motes of light from this. Yep, another mote of light. Tranquility Bloom again. And I just have that open. Oh, brilliant silver, look. Oh, I didn't even realise silver was a thing. I guess I do now. Tin, silver. Lush Azurut. There's a new uncommon herb. Right, I use this as an opportunity to go find the flight points actually as well. I'll spend a little bit of time. I want to get my herb and mining to like skill 25 at least, so then we can have a look at spec trees and whatever. And then I'll just kind of play the zone a little bit more so that we can wombo combo. See the new zone, explore the new zone, but also get some herbing and mining whilst we do it up in the sky. Where's this one then? Here we go.
What business have you?
Dragonhawk Master. Beautiful.
Shorel Aran.
More light fused. I wonder if each zone is going to have a different type of moat attached to it, because it's either coincidence that I've only stumbled across light fused ones so far, or it's that the first zone of Eversong Woods only has light moats and you get other moats in other zones. Now we only have this first zone to test this week, so might not get that answer. Argent Leaf, that's a new one. You convert the moats into primals? No, there's no quality on moats and there's no conversion of them. What I can see at least, not via gathering at the moment anyway. More brilliant silver. So there's copper, tin, silver, and I know there's a thorum, there's a rare one which is thorum somewhere. How are we doing, Telomere? Welcome in. Doesn't the leveling spark require one from each zone? Not sure. Not sure. I can't off the top of my head remember exactly what that needed. Baby spark. Hello, that's a new herb, isn't it? Argent leaf. I can't get over how flipping huge these ore nodes are. They're actually a monster. Oh, hang on, the wife's calling. Please hold. Lord have mercy. The wife and half her family is turning up in 5 minutes. This is going to be fun. You still getting XP from herbing and mining? It does look like it, yeah. Now, what is this? What is a rune stone? Why do I care about it? As a root, where did that go? There it is. Runestone is up in the air. And is this? What's this? Hello? The light of the runestone flickers. Latent arcana can be used to charge it. Runic shield charge. Requires latent arcana. Missing reagent. Okay. Is this something we gather from mobs around here or something? This runestone needs charging. Charge it with latent arcana. Is that the same for all of these? There's a few of them on the map, look. I guess we'll have to figure out what the Christ that does. Okay. Planning an intervention. They've all been to a market this morning. There's a food market, and so they're clearly all coming here for some reason after. So be prepared for imminent interruption, including of that of small children. Will make all of the dogs in the house go absolutely bananas and cause chaos for a minute, but I have told everybody I am working, quote unquote. That's why I didn't go to the market. My get out of jail free card was that it's alpha season, I'm busy. Well, what did we get here? Plant protein. Wait, what? Hang on. Vegetarian? A meat substitute from various creatures in Quel'Thalas can be bought and sold on the auction house? The fucking hell's going on here? Alright, sure. Protein. And protein. We're out with our basically beef and in with our Quorn burgers. Lord have mercy. I had noticed a second ago that I've got my overload abilities. I have my overload at a deposit, Specialize in Overloaded to gain significant cooldown reduction on this ability whenever you mine deposits native to midnight. Overload nearby infused herb. Specialize into overloading midnight to gain significant cooldown. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so the overload ability is back. Let me clear a little bit of space around this one, and we'll overload on this light bloom one. See what happens.
I need to target something first.
Oh, I got the plant protein from herbing on the plant. Alright, let me overload on this then. What does overloading a light fused silver one do? Collect them? Okay, it pisses out bonus motes of light. And I picked up... I missed half of them because I had no idea what was happening, but it spat out a bunch of motes of light. Okay. And we got a knowledge point for tapping a light fused brilliant silver. Okay, cool. I've just realised I should be making lots of notes on all of this. Otherwise I'm not doing my job properly. Where is my Midnight Alpha notes? Mining and herbing. Probably the same. Overloading is still a thing. I'll make some more serious notes in a minute. Let's grab some more. Be nice to get to skill 25. Does engineering have the same mechanic as the War Within, needing to farm mobs for piles of rusted scrap? Not as a material by the looks of things, no. That said, though, a lot of the materials... I'm basically ignoring any material requirements on crafts right now, because half of them just feel broken and not implemented yet. So, why is this spitting stuff out? That's kind of cool. It doesn't look like that mechanic's a thing, though, which will be quite welcome, I think, to some people who have engineering on an alt that they don't actually play all that much. I think it's probably a good change, if I'm honest. Herbing and mining at the beginning of a new X-Pack is exciting for me. It's just fun. It's surprising how much fun stuff can be when it makes you a shitload of gold, eh? This is why I always worry about a lot of the feedback that's thrown towards professions. I'm like, if people had the exact... And this is why I think people say the professions are too complicated. Are they really, though? Or is it that they just didn't make you enough gold easily enough that you thought it was too much like hard work to figure it out? Now, I know that kind of sounds a little... Oh, should we overload on a Sanguithorn? Light fused again. Is it going to be the same mechanic on the herbs? Yes. Ow! These hurt. I've just realised. I always have this sort of growing concern that players think the professions are shit when they don't make them any money, or they don't easily make them any money. Burnt by the unleashed energy of a light fused deposit, taking radiant damage every 3 seconds. 6 seconds remaining. It did literally kill me. That's really funny. As I was reading the tooltip. Okay, sure. Eversong Wood. Eversong Woods has light fused nodes, which when overloaded spawn collectible, spawn what they called? Light motes? Motes of light? I will take some like little videos of this sort of stuff as well. Does anybody like crafting orders? That's it's a loaded question for me. That is a wholly collected. They also cause a debuff that is currently strong enough to kill you. And I'll grab some pictures and stuff in a minute. I have a feeling people are here, which means in the near seconds we might get invaded. Because if my little niece is here, she's absolutely going to want to come and say hello. YouTuber voice incoming. When I mean to make little videos, just like little basically TikToks of what each node are, sort of thing. Close the door. Yeah, lock the doors, close the curtains. It might require me to take a break for 10 minutes, which is actually probably smart, because let this painkiller kick in properly and then we can come back and get back to work. Oh, the entire zone appeared to like change. Hey, at least I'll be able to... Oh, a rich one. Rich nodes exist as well. We can live with that for sure. Go on, give me loads of juice. How much was that? 4. Okay, we unlocked mining specializations because we hit mining 25. That's something to have a look at in a minute as well. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Judging by my friends in guildies, they did not even try to understand the professions after the revamp. They looked at the spec trees, at the secondary stats, at the different qualities of things, got shocked, said too complicated, never touched it again. Yeah, yeah, I wrestle with this quite a lot, that I really do tend to believe that the noise, the negative noise around professions is often quite loud, but it seems to be quite loud from people who are not really that invested in the professions in the first place, which comes with an air of frustration, because it's like me telling the PvP arena junkies why that I think arenas shouldn't be a thing. You know, if you don't overly care for an avenue of the game, then is your opinion that it should go away not as valid or not? It's really difficult, you know. And it's probably because professions do kind of impact everybody in a way. Now that end game crafted gear is so prominent and everybody wants their enchants and gems and consumables and stuff, there's the issue that everybody has to deal with professions, even if it's not really their jam. And so Blizzard does need to strike a balance, really. They need to be approachable enough, they need to be easy enough to get into, because everybody does have to deal with them, but they kind of also could do with being, you know, the depth to them needs to be there for players like ourselves who do enjoy them and want to get more into them, which is clearly a fine line that's taken 2 expansions and we're going into a 3rd, and they maybe still haven't quite got it right yet, but we'll see. They have add-ons to focus their anger on right now. Well, yeah, a little bit, maybe. Cater to the player that uses it, or cater to the TikTok brain people. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I like I said, this is why I don't know. I wrestle with this from a content sort of perspective. Like, when I record a video or something, before I record a video, I have to sort of like have an idea of who am I talking to, who's likely to watch this video, who's likely to get something out of this video. Am I talking to the seasoned veterans? And in that case, am I going to talk, you know, more specific, or is this video going to end up being viewed by people who just want to know, you know, are the professions worth touching this expansion? Yes or no? So yeah, it's tough for them to get it right, but I'm hoping that with access to the alpha this expansion, we can get some good solid feedback in, and we can sway the direction of things favorably. We still haven't seen a high quality anything yet. Not that I was kind of expecting to, but where's the rich silver here? Oh god, I've aggroed a bunch of shit. It should be like every aspect of the game. Professions should be quote-unquote complicated if you want to get the best out of it. Same as if you want to raid mythic or high keys, etc. Yeah, they like I said, they need to be approachable, don't they? They need to be straightforward enough to get on board with, that anybody can pick them up and do something. Which, in my opinion, is exactly what concentration allows players to do. Concentration gives people an instant I win button within the professions, right? You don't need to worry about your profession tools. You don't need to min-max the skill. You don't need to unlock all of the spec points. You don't need to do absolutely everything just to press the button. You can press concentration and still get that crafted item. But of course it comes at a cost, doesn't it? Oh, hello boys and girls, we've got competition. I'll be back in a few minutes. Right, boys and girls. I think the easiest way for me to approach this, considering half my family's just turned up at the house, and that's of course woken all the dogs up and all sorts of craziness is about to ensue. I'm going to leave it there for a little bit. I will be absolutely on the alpha most of the day, so I might throw the stream up later. Nipsers, Nipsers, get down. Nipsers, get down. Down, woofing at the neighbours now. Enjoy the rest of your day, boys and girls. Like I said, I might be back on later. Failing that, shameless promo, come say hi over on the Discord. As I'm making notes on this sort of stuff, it's all going in the Discord. I've got a bit of an FAQ section on the go, plus there's the general discussion areas in the Discord as well. Come say hi. Thank you very much for the Discord link there, Crazy Bear. Appreciate it. I'm going to go say hi to the family, get myself some food, and I might be on a little bit later. Failing that, we'll probably be live again tomorrow. I'm not taking days off at the moment. We've got alphas, we've got remix turning up and stuff, so we'll just we'll squeeze real life in between some video games. Thank you for joining. I normally probably should send you off to somebody else, raid somebody else, something along those lines. I don't know if anybody's online right now. It's a Saturday. My actual followed list is like basically empty. Go and enjoy. Thank you very much for stopping by. We'll do some more of this soon. If I can get some mining herbalism first look videos put together this evening, maybe I might do that instead of throwing the stream up. We'll see. But yes, bear with me. Within a few days, we'll have an overview for all of the professions and a better understanding of what's going on midnight. So thank you once again. I will see you next time. Peace.